Today we'll be talking about Thomas Jefferson's legacy. No founding father had quite as complex and intricate legacy as Jefferson did. On one side, he was a passionate proponent of religious freedoms, and this is evidenced by the First Amendment in the Declaration of Independence, as well as in the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom, in which he was the author as well. On the other, he was a slave owner and was passive in his support or his disapproval of abolition. And he was a man of many talents. He spoke many languages. He was Secretary of State. He was the Vice President under George Washington. He was the third President of the United States. And he was clearly a man of many, many talents. He, in many cases, was referred to as the pen of the Revolution. And his oratory skills and his writing skills clearly set him apart from some of his contemporaries in the American Revolution. And arguably, his biggest influence was on the religious freedom in the United States. Going into authoring the Declaration of Independence, one of the biggest fears was the establishment of a state religion. And that state religion would then dictate the constructs of the nation. And Thomas Jefferson wrote into the First Amendment a free exercise clause. It found its roots in the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom, in which, regardless of religious creed, citizens were allowed to practice their religion freely. Let's see. John Regosta points out that Jefferson's legacy is not about establishing a clear delineation between a wholly secular nation and a Christian nation. Rather, his legacy is a fundamentally secular government and a vibrant private religious realm bounded only by an expansive voluntary principle. So Jefferson's biggest influence was, in my opinion, the religious freedom and the free exercise clause. More importantly, his legacy wasn't really fully cemented until the Everson versus Board of Education case in 1947. It was here that the Supreme Court really pointed out that there should be a solid wall between church and state. And up until that point, it was believed that Jefferson's original intent was never to have that wall fully constructed. He fully believed that while the federal government shouldn't have a say in the religious lives or the religious beliefs of its people, the states certainly had the right to support any state religion. In doing so, in this case, the Supreme Court ruled that there should be a firm wall, a strong wall between church and state. And moving forward, the gauge was based on Jefferson's original intent, which still is left for debate. There's still uncertainty in what he truly meant. What is known is that now, instead of there being as Rutledge pointed out, or as Regosta pointed out, instead of being a secular government and a healthy private religious belief system, it's now you're trying to keep it separate. And so, in my opinion, it's this separation of church and state that is truly the lasting legacy of Jefferson. It's clearly he is the father of this amendment. It was clearly his, and it's listed on his tombstone, both the Declaration of Independence and the Virginia Statute of Religious Rights. So, in my opinion, the freedom of religion, the free exercise clause, are hands down his lasting legacy.